Did you know that if in the original US release of The Legends of Zelda, if you registered your name as Zelda, it will become much difficult with difficult enemies and new dungeon, also known as a side quest, which can only be entered by one completing the game. Legend of Zelda games features a mix of puzzles, action, adventure battles, gameplay, and exploration. These elements have remained constant through the series, but with refinements and additions featured in each new game, like stealth, gameplay, and racing elements. The Legend of Zelda was principally inspired by Shigeru Miyamoto's exploration as a young boy in the hillsides, forests, and caves surrounding his childhood home, which is quite interesting thinking it was only in his childhood days. Maybe it's okay in Japan to roam those free in your nearest landmark, which was in Tsunobe, Japan, where he ventured into forests with secluded lakes, caves, and rural villages. According to Miyamoto, one of his most memorable experiences was the discovery of a cave entrance in the middle of the woods. After some hesitation, he apprehensively entered the cave and explored its depth with the aid of a lantern. Miyamoto has referred to the creation of the Zelda games as an attempt to bring to life a miniature garden for players to play with in each game of the series. The story and the setting was developed by Takashi Tezuka. Seeking to create a fairy tale adventure game, Tezuka drew inspiration from fantasy books such as of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, and according to Keiji Terui, he wrote the backstory in the first game's manual, from which this beautiful backscene is. Stated the location named Death Mountain was initially a working title for an earlier story inspired by the battles of medieval Europe written with the concept of the Triforce. There were also many inspirations from the Europe, like the Master Sword was inspired by the Excalibur, which originated from the Arthurian legends, in the Welsh correction of Mabinogion. Hearing of the American novelist, socialite, and painter Zelda Fitzgerald, Miyamoto thought the name sounded pleasant and significant. Paying tribute, he chose to name the princess after her and titled it The Legends of the Zelda. Link and the Fairy were inspired by the likes of Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, which I think you already know that. And by this information and the significant amount of inspiration it brought with it from the West, it may be now clear to you that why this thing was localized in West and not the Takamaru Castle, which is quite different and was only released in the Japan. And it was its 35th anniversary too. Bad time. But still, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Zelda 35. And if you watched my previous Metroid 35 video, there will be a Metroid 35 video coming out next Wednesday. And in the next Legends of Zelda 35 video, we're gonna talk about how this game was set with its setting and background. Thank you so much for watching.